Hello YouTube. So, I was planning to do a video on this dot matrix printer down here. I went out and bought like 2,000 sheets of paper. See over here. I even got some new ink ribbons, even though I discovered that the old one, even though it's 30 years old, 35 maybe, is actually doing okay. It still works for the most part, but I actually got a new one as well. I have managed to print some stuff. Here's a page that's just the same text over and over, sometimes added a bit more, but that I wrote on the Commodore +4, and I even got some test pages out of it. But unfortunately, it's having some issues. We can just try and move in here. The power button is down here, and if you hold in this paper advance button on the front while you turn it on, it should print a test page. What the hell? So now it's totally dead. I didn't expect that. Oh, there it goes. What the hell? Why did it take so long to turn on? Let's try again. There we go. So now it's printing a test page. So you can see it right now, it seems to be working fine. I had various issues that I had to figure out, like how to probably mount the ink ribbon and stuff, but I got that working. And we have to switch it off to get it to stop that. We turn it back on. And then we see the head recenters. Let's get this out here. So let's just zoom out again. So there we have the test print. And that's the 30 or maybe 35-year-old ink ribbon. For it. Oh yeah, and it's the Commodore MPS-802 printer. But now, the problem is, if I leave it sitting turned on for a few minutes, it'll start acting up. At first I thought it was dragging the ink ribbon back and forth and stuff, like it couldn't really pull it and keep it tight. I discovered that was probably because I had installed the ribbon the wrong way. Then I thought maybe there's a bad bearing or something, so it kind of drags on the rails down in there, which we can't really see here, but maybe I can get a better view. There's these rails down here that the head moves on. I thought that was the problem. Maybe the motor here was overheating. That could have been the problem. But it seems the problem starts even if it just sits idle for a while, but without actually doing anything. If I just leave it turned on for, sometimes it's 2 minutes, sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 10 minutes, but eventually it will stop working like it's intended to. And then if I turn it off and just let it sit for an hour and then turn it back on, then it'll work okay again for a little while. So I'm thinking something in here is either heating up, getting way too hot, and then when I turn it off, it'll cool down and then it'll work until that component heats up again. Or maybe it's a capacitor that's when it's cold and discharged, it's okay, but maybe that heats up, and maybe when it's up to full charge, it has a problem. Could be the power supply or something. Yeah, but I definitely need to open this up, and I think in particular I'll need to look for stuff that gets hot. There, something went wrong right there. It decided to not work anymore. Yeah. You see, it just now tries to rehome. Let's see. Oh, it did it that time. Let's try again. Nope. It's still moving smoothly though. It usually doesn't. It starts getting choppy and moving really slowly. But you see now it's not able to rehome correctly. There's a optical sensor over on this side that when the print head moves over, it knows it's on the margin in this side of the page. And now it does no, not quite. Now it's fucking up really badly. There it goes. It'll start doing that eventually. And it will not trigger. Well, it actually did trigger this time. But the Paper Advance works. So it's not entirely dead yet, but yeah, now we see. So that's the symptoms. So yeah, I'll need to open this up and figure out what is going wrong inside of it. So I've got it apart. It was quite easy actually. It's just 4 screws, one in each corner, and then the wheel on here you have to pull off. It's just press fit. So you pull that off, and then you can lift off the lid. This part goes underneath here, so there's a little bit of finagling to get the angle right to pull it away. And then finally there is this little cable here that goes into the main board. Over here you have to disconnect. And that's it. And we're in. Unfortunately, there's nothing obviously wrong with it. Sure, it got a few big caps, but they aren't bulging or anything. Got a few big caps here. This one might be bulging a tiny bit, but I haven't got anything big enough to replace it, so I don't know if I can do anything about that right now. I fell around on all the components except for whatever's under here. Something is shielded quite heavily here. I don't know what that is yet, but the box here doesn't get hot or anything. I fell around on pretty much all the components, which is a bit dangerous because you've got mains over here coming in, and that's 230 volts here in Denmark. So be careful where you stick your fingers. But I felt all the chips and capacitors and stuff, and really the only thing that gets hot in here when it's just sitting idle is right down here. Over here behind this cap, right there, there's a component that does get toasty, but I can still feel, I can still keep my finger on it, so 50 degrees, maybe 60 max is what it gets up to. So it's not extreme, but I'm pretty sure that's a bridge rectifier. I mean, I could try and replace that bridge rectifier, but I haven't got a replacement. I could try recapping it, but at least for the 2 big ones, I'll need to order some new caps. I think I'll probably have replacement for all the smaller ones on the board. But I think what I'll do before any of that is I'll try to measure out some voltages to see if I can figure out what's going where. And to do that, I think I'll see if I can find a service manual for this. I did find a user manual. Maybe I can get lucky and find a service manual as well. That would be really nice. So for some reason there's a bunch of resistors or diodes. Maybe it's diodes. Yeah, I think it's kind of looks like these over here. This is some sort of diode that they left out on this. They're not populated. More down here. There's a whole bunch. I wonder what that was intended for. You don't see any botch wires or anything, at least not on this side of the board. We see a bunch of... it's almost like this part of the board is replicated over here, but they only populated all these... yeah, I'm not sure what they are. Inductors maybe? O or Q, something, are they all labeled? That's hard to tell. But like you see, we've got a bunch of MOS tips. I haven't looked up exactly what they are, but at least one of them is a controller, a processor. And there's a RAM, apparently probably maybe some of the smaller chips. And you should basically be able to load programming onto it to change the settings. You don't have a setup program like you would have on a modern day printer, so you could load stuff onto it, kind of like you can with the disk drives for the Commodore 64 and stuff, which is basically a computer in its own right. So I may have found a problem. If we look down there, see that was now an empty socket. When I found a service manual set to check some pins on this socket. There should be a certain resistance between a few pins. Now that I've removed it, I can better get access to those pins. Just need to... I don't know if it has to be turned on or not, how that works. Yeah, we're still not getting the connection, but honestly, I'm not entirely sure if I'm measuring in the right place here. There was some sort of connection there, a lot higher than it really should be. Anyway, what I did discover, somebody probably replaced this at some point. I don't know if I can get a focus on this. It's kind of trying. You can see that? Those pins are looking kind of odd, right? It's because they've been broken off and then resoldered at some point. So first of all, I don't think this is the original ROM. I think somebody upgraded the ROM in this at some point, and they didn't do a very good job. And this chip is kind of fucked, to be honest. Now, if there's high resistances and stuff in here, that may explain the problem. At the very least, I'll see if I can replace this. That's something I could look into. At least that does not look healthy. And yeah, so I'll have to see. I do have some EEPROMs that I couldn't... I'm not sure if they fit in that socket. If they do, I could try going down that route. But unfortunately, that means I'm not getting this to work today, at least. That's an entirely different project in its own right. So I'm not sure what to do with this video. Just throw it up as a quick teardown or something. I'm not sure. But somebody really... yeah, they really fucked this chip up. Again, we'll see. Look at those pins, they just... on these, let's see, 3, I think 2 or 3 chip pins over here has been soldered on. They have been broken off at some point and then resoldered on, and then stuck it in the socket. It could just be those solder joints that's bad, so I could try to resolder them myself, but I would really prefer to just replace this if I could possibly. And if I could get the EEPROM, if I could figure out how to flash these EEPROMs, if I could find the code even, that's a different problem. I have to look for that. Then we could do some more interesting stuff with this, because there's some custom firmware for this that adds more graphical options than basically just printing. Right now it can only print basically the basic character set, so all of the numbers and letters and stuff, and then all the the graphical characters that you have down on the side of the buttons on a Commodore 64. That's basically all it can do right now. But you can get a different firmware that enable it to do more like a pixel kind of thing. So if I could get that working, I could do some more interesting stuff with this. So, but this opens up for some new projects, that's for sure. I don't know if I'll get back to trying to fix it with as is, with that ROM chip. I don't think I'll bother right now, because it looks pretty bad. And if we are going to play around with new ROMs, I'll probably recap it, just to make sure there's not a problem there. So this turned out to be, started out as something I would like to be a demonstration video of this printer, then it turned into a repair. Now it's just a teardown, but it opened up for some future projects possibly. I'll have to consider that. So if you like this video and want to see what more I do with this printer in the future, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.